So we're joined post-match by Senior Coach Zane Littlejohn. Thanks so much for your time. I suppose a disappointing result on the day. What are your immediate takeaways from the loss to Port?
Yeah, you're right, mate. Very disappointing day. Obviously, we came here expecting and wanting a better result than what we got. Ultimately, we weren't good enough for long enough. We started the game really slowly, which is really disappointing. When we thought we set the game up really well, we knew it was going to be tough around the contest. A lot of stoppage, and we had to be ready for that. Ultimately, we knew the type of game that Port Melbourne wanted to play, and we let them play that for too long.
And conditions ultimately are a talking point. This is the first time I've had a look at wet conditions for quite some time. How do you think we handled that, especially relative to Port?
Yeah, I think we handled it well eventually, but early in the game we didn't handle it anywhere near as well as what Port did. We took longer to adjust, and we actually spoke about that post-game as to why. Like, we knew it was going to be wet. We spoke about potentially the wet weather coming Thursday night in our meeting, so we were prepared for that, and we knew that would be the case. But ultimately, Port had adapted better than us, quicker than us. But credit to our boys, like, they found a bit, and there's still a lot of positives I think that come from the game. It's just ultimately that we weren't good enough early, and in these conditions, playing catch-up footy is pretty tough. It's tough to. You can kick multiple goals, but it's tough to kick multiple goals quickly because it's easier to shut the game down in these type of conditions. So credit to Port, but also, look, I want to pay a bit of credit to our boys who did try their effort. We can't fold at times. Did try really hard to make sure we got ourselves back in the game and ultimately come within a kick.
You mentioned that. You mentioned proud of the effort in some aspects, get to within a kick. In the end, the game actually became a case of next goal wins. We got to within a point with a couple of minutes left on the clock. It's not all bad. What are some sort of the more pleasing aspects of today's performance?
Yeah, again, I think we'll see from the tape when we look back over it. Josh Ward to have sort of 8 clearances, 9 tackles inside the contest, which he's ultimately known for his work and ability on the outside, which we still saw some of that. So that's really pleasing. Mitch Lewis in front of the ball again, really pleasing. On a nice dry day, arguably could have kicked a lot more if we could get the ball down there more consistently, I guess is probably the word I'm looking for. And so there's some real pleasing signs. Max Ramsden in the ruck, shouldered all that, ended up with 40 plus hit outs, kick a goal himself, especially after quarter time. I thought he really adjusted well. 6 clearances himself as well. So there's some positive signs, but ultimately we weren't good enough, and we lost the area of the game that we really pride ourselves here at Box Hill, which is the real feel around the footy, and that's credit to Port. Obviously Harvey Hooper's 100th game, and they came to play, and we knew they would. They had a really good win last week, and I guess the disappointing aspect from me as the coach is that we didn't respond to that. So we need to look at why, us as coaches and players, and make sure when we're in these situations again that we do respond.
And then lastly, the beauty of footy is after a disappointing result, you will usually have a chance to atone. Next week is Geelong, funnily enough beaten by Port last week. Really strong opponent, gave us all sorts of problems earlier in the year. Looking forward to that game, what are some focus points?
Yeah, a really good side. Like, I think last week's the first time they'd lost since we beat them in round 2 or whatever. So, formidable outfit, to be honest. So, but these are the games we want to play, and we want to play in these type of games because grand final day or you can rock up any day. We play a winter sport. I spoke to the boys after the game, and these are the conditions you could get. So you need to be able to adjust and adapt to that. Next week's no different. We could get these conditions. We could get a nice dry day. Who knows? But we need to be able to adjust and adapt to those conditions, and just continue to make sure that we're playing the brand of footy that the Hawks are known for, and we want to play. And that's ultimately making sure that we're really tough around the contest and really strong, but also be able to play our style of footy when we get ball in hand.
Very well said. Commiserations on the results. We'll go again in a week's time.
Thanks, Butch.